Have you ever wondered how far you would go to survive in the most extreme conditions? Let me take you back to the year 1846, a time when the American West was a beacon of hope and opportunity. A group of pioneers, now known to us as the Donner Party, were lured by this promise. They embarked on a journey from Springfield, Illinois to the golden lands of California, their hearts filled with optimism and dreams of a better life. The Donner Party was not a small group. It was a caravan of 87 people, a mix of families, couples, and individuals, all united by a common goal. They set off with 20 wagons, their belongings, and a shared vision of prosperity in the West. But the journey to California was not an easy one. It was a grueling 2,500-mile trek across the country, much of it uncharted territory. They had to navigate treacherous mountain passes, cross vast deserts, and ford mighty rivers. The wagons were cumbersome, progress was slow, and the road was unforgiving. The pioneers faced the hardships of wagon travel with resilience. The days were long, the conditions harsh. They had to contend with the elements, the scarcity of food and water, and the constant threat of disease. Yet they pressed on. The promise of California, with its fertile lands and favorable climate, was too enticing to ignore. Despite these challenges, the spirit of the Donner Party remained unbroken. They were a hardy group, used to the rigors of frontier life. Their determination was fueled by the belief that their struggle would be worth it, that their sacrifices would lead them to a land of plenty, to a new life in the West. But as they journeyed deeper into the wilderness, the landscape became more hostile, the weather more unpredictable. Their optimism began to waver. Doubts started to creep in. They were venturing into the unknown, and the unknown can be a terrifying place. Little did they know, their journey was about to take a dark and tragic turn. In the face of adversity, a single decision can spell life or death. As the Donner Party set out on their westward journey, they were presented with a fork in the road. One path was the well-worn trail to California. The other, an untested route known as the Hastings Cutoff. The latter was suggested by an adventurer named Lansford Hastings, who promised it would shave off hundreds of miles and precious time. However, Hastings had never actually traversed this route with wagons. He had only traveled it on horseback. With dreams of prosperity and a new life in California, the Donner Party decided to take a gamble. They chose the Hastings Cutoff, unaware of the treacherous terrain and hardships that lay ahead. This decision would prove to be a pivotal moment in their journey, the beginning of a series of unfortunate events that would lead to their downfall. The Hastings Cutoff was not the shortcut they were promised. It was a harsh, unforgiving route that wound through the Wasatch Mountains and across the Great Salt Lake Desert. The terrain was rough and rocky, and the wagons were not designed for such a landscape. Progress was slow and arduous, and the party quickly began to lose valuable time and supplies. As they struggled through the mountains and desert, weeks turned into months. The delays meant the onset of winter was fast approaching, and the party was still far from California. They had gambled on the Hastings Cutoff, and it seemed they were about to lose. With dwindling supplies and the harsh winter approaching, the Donner Party was in a dire situation. They had hoped to reach California before the snowfall, but now found themselves stranded in the unforgiving Sierra Nevada mountains. As the snow began to fall, the Donner Party found themselves stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains. When pushed to the edge, the instinct for survival can lead us down dark paths. The Donner Party, now trapped in the snowy expanse of the Sierra Nevada mountains, found themselves in a desperate struggle for survival. The harsh winter had descended upon them, and they were ill-prepared for the brutality it brought. The bitter cold was relentless, gnawing at their bodies, their spirits, their very will to live. Their provisions dwindled rapidly, the scant rations barely enough to sustain them. They had been reduced to boiling hides for sustenance, a grim reminder of their dire situation. Starvation, an insidious foe, began to creep into their ranks, its touch colder than the snow that imprisoned them. The fear of this slow, agonizing death hung heavily in the air, a specter haunting their every waking moment. Disease, too, was an unwelcome companion in their fight for survival. Malnutrition weakened their bodies, making them susceptible to a myriad of illnesses. The bitter cold only exacerbated their conditions, their bodies unable to fight off the onslaught of sickness. The death toll began to rise, a chilling testament to their plight. In these extreme conditions, some members of the party resorted to a horrifying choice. Cannibalism, a taboo unthinkable in any civilized society, became their only means of survival. The dead, once companions on a journey towards a better life, were now their only source of sustenance. This grim decision was not taken lightly, but in the face of certain death, it was a choice they felt compelled to make. It was a testament to the human will to survive, a primal instinct pushing them to the very brink of their moral compass. It was a dark path indeed, one that will forever mark this chapter of their lives with a somber shadow. In the icy wilderness, the Donner Party was forced to confront the unthinkable. Even in our darkest hours, the flame of hope can still flicker. As the winter of 1846 raged on, the plight of the Donner Party reached California, sparking urgent rescue attempts. The first, led by a group of 7 men from California, managed to reach the snowbound camp in February 1847. They brought with them much-needed food supplies and hope of survival. Unfortunately, they could only take a handful of the weakest members back with them. In the months that followed, 3 more rescue parties were dispatched, each braving the treacherous Sierra Nevada, their determination fueled by the hope of saving the stranded pioneers. By April, the last of the survivors were rescued, marking the end of their torturous ordeal. But the aftermath of the Donner Party's ordeal was just beginning. The survivors were haunted by their experiences, their stories becoming a grim testament to the harsh reality of pioneer life. Some were shunned by society, their actions during the winter of despair seen as a taboo. Others found themselves trapped in the clutches of survivors' guilt, unable to escape the haunting memories. One such survivor was Margaret Reed, who, despite losing her husband, managed to keep her 4 children alive. She later recalled the experience as a nightmare, a period of her life she wished to forget but could not. George Donner's youngest daughter, Eliza, also lived to tell the tale. Her recollections served as a stark reminder of the human will to survive against all odds. The survivors' stories were passed down through the generations, their ordeals shaping the narrative of American westward expansion. They became a symbol of the perilous journey many pioneers undertook in the pursuit of a better life, their tragedy a stark reminder of the cost of such ambition. The Donner Party's ordeal was over, but their story would echo through the ages. History, in all its tragedy and triumph, offers us lessons for the present. The story of the Donner Party, a group of American pioneers who faced unthinkable hardships in the winter of 1846, is a stark reminder of the power of decision-making, survival, and the human spirit. It's a tale that, while harrowing, provides us with invaluable insights. One of the most profound lessons from the Donner Party's ordeal is the importance of preparation and measured decision-making. The group's decision to take the Hastings Cutoff, a supposed shortcut that proved disastrous, underscores the dangers of rushing into uncharted territories without adequate knowledge or preparation. In our own lives, whether we're embarking on a new career, moving to a new city, or starting a family, it's crucial that we make informed decisions and prepare for the challenges that may lie ahead. The Donner Party's story also highlights the sheer will to survive. Despite being faced with unimaginable hardships, many of the group's members demonstrated an extraordinary capacity for resilience. Even when faced with starvation and the harshest of winters, they found the strength to carry on. This resilience, this refusal to give up in the face of adversity, is a trait we can all aspire to. It's a reminder that when we're faced with our own trials and tribulations, we too can find the strength to persevere. But perhaps the most powerful lesson of the Donner Party's experience is the indomitable strength of the human spirit. Despite the dire circumstances they found themselves in, many members of the group managed to maintain their humanity. They cared for each other, shared their meager resources, and did their best to keep each other's spirits up. It's a testament to the fact that even in the most challenging of circumstances, the human spirit can shine through. In the face of extreme adversity, the tale of the Donner Party serves as a testament to both the fragility and the indomitable strength of the human spirit.